Today, we're going to talk about how to manifest anything that you want. Hi, my name is Heather Picken, and today we're going to talk about how to manifest anything you want in 7 steps. Now, it's interesting because on my channel, I talk a lot about neuroscience, particularly about self-directed neuroplasticity, using journaling, getting out of your way, changing your subconscious programs, which in actuality creates your reality. I am a geek. I'm a science nut, and I do a lot of research. So what I'm going to tell you is not about all woo-woo. These are strategies that you can use right now to improve not just your business, but in any area of your life. So if you like this video, do me a solid, do me a favor. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification, and the like button and comment. I know it's so many steps, but my mission and my vision is to really help you to get out of your own way and teach it in a practical way that is science-based. It doesn't sound crazy. I've been studying this for over 15 years, and I have to tell you, my life has dramatically changed. I want to share a couple of different stories of how this worked for me in my life in different areas. So the very first step I want to talk about, step number 1, is to get clear on what you want. Now, I know you may have heard this before, and I know this step sounds simple, but all too often, people focus on the wrong things. I know people that are very successful, and we're talking 8-figure earners, yet they will focus on the wrong thing, the doom and gloom, and therefore they create a self-fulfilling prophecy. These are not my clients, but I do get clients that come to me where they are programmed, their mind, their current reality is programmed on doom and gloom. And I always tell people is that an entrepreneur solves problems. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, guess what? You have to program your mind to a solution, not always what is wrong. Yes, you have to know what's wrong. So step number 1, to get clear. I want to give you an example years ago when I was overweight, and no matter what I did, this is important, no matter what diet I was on, no matter how hard I was training, I could not achieve my ideal body. What I'm going to tell you is going to blow you away, at least it still blows me away to this day, is I started to, number 1, get clear, and step number 2 is I started visualizing the end result as if it already happened. Now, my specific visualization, you know what it was? Back when the Terminator came out, you know, with Linda Hamilton, and she was all buff. I've talked about this in other videos, but it's such a great story that I want to share it with you again. I was imagining that scene every time I'd go into the gym where she was doing pull-ups, that I was her. I was Sarah Connor. It was so empowering. Now, here is the most mind-blowing thing about this visualization. I didn't tell anyone. I also took action. So this is step number 3. You got to take action. You got to get clear. You got to visualize what you want, that end result. You do have to take action. So what was interesting is I was taking action. 6 months later, I had transformed my physique beyond my wildest dreams. Because here I was someone that had this image in my mind that somehow I could never lose weight. And so your identity revolves around that. If you've ever read the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz, he talks about this, how our self-image is really our identification. And so we have to change how we think about ourselves in order to get that end result. So 6 months later, transformed my body. I had complete strangers come up to me and they said, you know who you look like? You look like Linda Hamilton from the movie The Terminator. And I was blown away. And that was a significant event that changed my life. How did that happen? How can I duplicate it? I didn't really understand what was going on, but I knew that event in that moment was powerful. It wasn't until I was studying the brain and understanding neuroplasticity, how things work, how we can either align ourselves and attract what we want in our business or actually repel it. And so this thing between your ears, your brain is so powerful. And according to neuroscience, our brains can change in milliseconds. So why is it we stay stuck in a program? Well, it goes back to how we see ourselves. We need to really analyze what we're thinking, because what you think about, you bring about. Now, another story I want to talk about, it's the same story about visualization, getting clear, but here's the interesting thing with the first step in getting clear. I was focused on an intention. Now, I was not really like, oh, this has to come true. But I was really focused on the visualization aspect. Back in college, I actually majored in film. So I was an art student with my concentration in film. I wanted to be a filmmaker. I absolutely loved filmmakers like Spike Lee during that time, French filmmaker Truffaut, and the Italian filmmaker Fellini. There weren't a lot of female filmmakers. Amy Heckerling was a different genre later on, but that really gave me fuel. It inspired me to tell stories. It also allowed me to escape in a different world. And that's what I love about visualization. So let's go back to the days of my college days, which I kind of labeled myself semi-goth, where I dressed in all black. Yes, I have black on today. Face was kind of pale. I was just trying to figure out who I was, and film was an amazing escape. I actually created a short film called Pink Noise that basically was on the objectification of women. Oh my gosh, that's another story in and of itself. But anyways, I was going through a lot. I remember sitting in my room on Columbus Avenue, and I had a art drafting table. Now, one of my favorite bands during that time was a band called The Cult. No, it wasn't a cult. That was just their name. And the lead singer, whose name was Ian Asbury. Now, I had a piece of tracing paper over the cover, a front cover of one of his CDs or albums, as we called it back then. I started tracing his face, and I was imagining myself, I was visualizing an end result of a conversation I was having with him. And the conversation went like this: wow, it's really cool to meet you, and I love your work. I've been following you for years. It was just a simple conversation. I remember being in the flow, being in this just forgetting where I was at. I lost myself. Now, if you're an artist, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You get obsessed with your work. You just get so involved with what you're doing. What was interesting is that after that happened, I didn't think too much of it. Here's where the story gets interesting. A couple years later, I found myself during this time, the Cult, the band that I liked, was coming to where I lived. None of my friends were available. The guy that I was dating was out of town, and I'm like, I have to take this opportunity to go see my favorite band. It was standing room only, or first come, first serve, general admission. Got there early. I worked my way up to the stage, so I was literally in the front row singing all the songs. At the end of the concert, the drummer handed me his drumstick, and I still have it today. Let's make this even sweeter. After the concert was done, the bouncer said, hey, you, do you want to come backstage? Now, I know what you're thinking. No, nothing crazy. I go backstage, and it was actually outside where the whole band was gathered around a fire pit and their van, their tour bus. And there I was, standing in front of Ian Asbury and the entire band and saying, I really like your work. I've been following you for a long time. It was so cool. I was able to go on the tour bus. No, nothing crazy happened. And that was it. That was it. I didn't realize what just happened because I went home and I thought about my experience in my room at college a couple years ago, thinking, what did I just create? I just created the exact image in my mind, and I forgot about it. And that's another step that I want to talk about, is step number 4. is to let go of the attachment. I want to put this in the context of a relationship. How many of you're watching this, maybe you're single, and you have this need for a relationship. And every time you think about it, it drives you crazy. You feel more resistance and more anxiety. There's a quote from one of my mentors. When you follow, they flee. When you flee, they follow. So in the context of a relationship, if you're chasing after someone, guess what? You're gonna push them away, right? And the same thing is relevant to attracting what you want in a relationship or in your business. It is the law of detachment. That need for the thing, what Buddha says, the suffering, is really the biggest issue in the human condition. The question is, well, gosh, how do I let it go? You have to divert your mind to do something else. Everything that I've ever attracted in my business, in my life, has always come from not needing it, but being in the flow, obviously getting clear on what I wanted, visualizing that end result, taking action, detaching, and also understanding my subconscious program. So your subconscious mind is so powerful, it doesn't know what's real or it's not real. 95% of your beliefs, your habits, and behaviors come from your subconscious mind. That is why consciously you can have an intention to grow your business, attract more clients, but subconsciously, if you don't identify some of the blocks that are keeping you stuck on a sales call, putting yourself out there, being more visible, then you run yourself into that pattern over and over again, like Groundhog Day. You want to identify that next step. What am I really believing about the thing that I want to attract? So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. A lot of things come down to, well, I have an income goal that I want to hit. So if you don't identify the blocks, or maybe you have a sales block, then you will create a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you'll hit that wall every single time until you get to the root issue. So in my programs, I talk about this. I go through a specific process using neuroplasticity, specifically self-directed neuroplasticity, using a journal that I created that I filed 3 patents for, that helps you to break through those bad habits and patterns and those thoughts that keep dominating your flow and really hold you back, like create that resistance. So you want to know what's going on. Now, the other step is you want to step into a high valued mindset. In order to attract what you want, you must become that person. Now, think about it. If you've ever taken an acting class, I've taken some improv classes, you actually become a different person. You kind of get out of your comfort zone. And what I like about this concept, kind of acting as if, you are changing your physiology. You're changing your speech patterns. You're also changing your thinking. How would that character act? So what you want to do is you want to focus on becoming that person and jumping into that new mindset. It really is what I call this high valued mindset. Now let's apply this to your business. Let's say you want to raise your rates. So if the old self that you're identifying with thinks, well, clients are going to pay for this. What happens if I'm not making any more money because I raise my rates? I'm afraid of rejection. Can you see how that mindset is going to impact that new outcome and that new reality? So what you need to do is you need to take literally a quantum leap in your mind so that you believe it is absolutely 100% possible. Now, this is where most people get tripped up, that don't understand how neuroplasticity is so important. Neuroplasticity is basically changing your brain, creating new neural pathways by creating new thoughts. And this is something that I teach that is different than anyone else out there, that absolutely works. If you focus on changing and making new connections in your brain, guess what? You have just up-leveled, and you go to that next level. Now the question is, okay, How do I know with what I am putting out there, with what I want to attract more clients, grow my business, anything in your life is really on its way? So this is the next step. The next step is to measure it. All successful entrepreneurs, they keep track of maybe sales calls that they've made. Out of those calls, how many of those are clients? Now, I know that maybe sound kind of boring, like, no, I just want to flow with the energy, but there's something deeper I want to discuss. When you're tracking, you're also connecting the dots to how you're feeling emotionally, because if you don't have a sense of how you're on the sales call, if your energy is high, guess what? The probability of that sales call closing just went up. Whereas if you're not tracking anything, you don't know how to shift your energy. I find a lot of seasoned entrepreneurs fall into this trap because they're not tracking and they're not connecting the dots. There's always subconscious beliefs, or maybe your day went sideways, it happens, and you need to get yourself back on track so you can be in alignment with those clients. You can be in alignment with your vision. I'm a big believer when your vision is in alignment and when your vision is clear, you attract the people and resources. Let me share with you a client story where we use this whole formula about getting clear, detachment, all the things that we talked about. And she attracted $1 billion investor to her business. And this is someone that didn't really have any business experience, no business plan. And she came to me and she's like, can you help me? And I said, well, I'm not going to write a formal business plan, but I will tell you, if you go through these steps, there's a high probability that you could land the deal. So isn't it interesting how powerful your subconscious mind is? And isn't it interesting when you're clear on your visions, your intentions, and your goals, and you get out of your own way and you start measuring it, that you can attract what you want. Now, let's talk about this next step, and it is journaling. So in my programs, I actually designed a specific journal. It's literally 400 pages. It's crazy. It's different than my regular journals that you can actually buy online because of this. The first half of the journal is to help you to literally make new connections in your brain. You can step into your power to become more visible, gain clarity on your vision, and really shift into that high valued mindset. I have taken my years of, over 15 years of working with clients, my elite clients that have paid me a lot of money to help them to grow their business to 6 and 7 figures. And I've taken what I've taught them and put it into this program. And I have to tell you, you need 2 components in order to keep moving in your business, to align and attract with what you want. First, you need the transformational. You need to align your mind to your vision. I cannot say that enough, because when you're clear, as we talked about in some of these steps, you got to get clear, but you also have to get out of your own way. You also have to measure your success. You also have to let go. And when things don't happen exactly how you want it, sometimes there's a pivot. Sometimes there's a different direction that you need to follow. So I have created an entire program to show entrepreneurs how to do that. Now, the second half that you need is you have to take action. I'm not going to do this video and say you're just going to sit on the couch, boom, and everything magically is going to drop in your lap. I know that'd be awesome, right? It'd be amazing. That's just not how life works. We live in a physical world. We have to take action. The second part of the journal in the program is to strategize your big global vision. Who do you want to serve? And what are the projects that you are going to implement, and having that focus and discipline that you're going to take action every single day on the highest priorities. I find that a lot of entrepreneurs can get distracted from shiny objects, that they really don't have a system or method to get them focused. And I will tell you this, by journaling, it does help your brain to be more creative. So if you're a creative person If you need an escape from this digital world, being analog actually allows your brain to grow and expand your consciousness, making new connections. I hope this video helped you today. I know I've talked about a lot of things today, a lot of steps on how you can manifest anything. And I do want to talk about one more story. Years ago, I was walking in the neighborhood that I now live in, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, wouldn't it be nice if I lived here? Fast forward today, I live in an amazing house in the neighborhood that I set an intention. Now, I will tell you, the biggest thing for me and how it happened is I put an intention out there, I let go, and I forgot about it. Sometimes if we become obsessed with that end goal in mind, that end result, it creates a lot of friction, right? And so by keeping yourself busy and taking action, it allows things to flow. Where your energy and intention goes, that's where the energy flows. But you don't want to hold on so tight. Also, another quick little story, because I love to share client stories. It's really important for you to connect with how my other clients have been successful. So this client came to me. They were moving to a different country, didn't speak the language, wanted to start a business. And they said, hey, can you help me? And I said, you know what? My methods are different. I don't teach marketing. I teach you how to control this and create a strategy that works, and so that you can focus on that. And in 8 weeks, what was interesting is that this client landed 3 deals, 1 deal being a major money maker. And it was interesting because I remember him telling me, I felt something click in my brain. I've never thought these thoughts before. And the reason why is I helped him to take where he was at, to shift him into a high valued mindset that changed his identification of how he saw himself. So if that's you, if you feel you're in your own way, if you know you're brilliant in your business, but there's something missing, you tried other marketing programs and nothing seems to work, I recommend that you apply for a session with me. Click on the link below. I'm very selective in who I like to enter my world. This is for high achievers, entrepreneurs that understand that this really is the secret to attracting anything that they want. Until next time, this is Heather Pickin, and live your vision.